to the Humanities. I can't remember the number of the episode off the top of my head. I haven't looked this time.
I think it's 72. I'm pretty sure it's 72.
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
Birthday.
Birthday show. Happy birthday,
Yes.
man.
Thanks.
How does it feel to be 22?
All across the land comes a brand new dawn. This comes to pass, 'cause coffee Jesus was born.
Or as they call it, the Christmas in November.
A silent hush moves across the land. Yeah, you know what I really like about the Twin Humanities guys when they do impressions of Johnny Mathis. So yeah, it's 22. That would be nice. Yeah. I remember 22. Back when all this was all woods and open fields.
Back when podcasts were a twinkle in my man's eye.
It is strange to see how life moves on in it. Anyway, I have something that I've been excited to talk about for quite some time. And
is it your birthday?
There is that, yeah. And hopefully we're going to release this on my birthday.
I'm going to do my apps. Do you know what? No, I'm saying it now. This is your birthday. This is releasing today. There we go. I've committed now, so if it doesn't come out, I look like a dickhead. Because
the chances are that I will speak to very few people today, although I will have a wander into town and do some stuff. Oh, also, my old man's coming to visit tomorrow, and I haven't seen him in about 7 years.
Oh, Christ.
This truly is a year of revelations, having not seen my mum for about 20.
Yeah.
So yeah, that means running around and tidying up. But
what time, Hoover?
Yeah. Where is this? It'd be like that thing in Friends where Monica does the vacuuming and then she gets out a tinier vacuum to vacuum the vacuum.
I was like, but the old place I used to work, the camera shop, the Hoover broke once, and my boss was like, "What did you do?" And I looked at her and went, "You know for a fact that was not me." And she, fair enough, and she just walked away.
How have you been anyway?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. You know, work is work as usual. Just generally playing the Red Dead since we last spoke. I won't be talking about that today, but it remains good.
Excellent.
So there's that.
And I have been playing the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but we're not talking about that today.
No.
I bought Destiny 2 on Xbox One, but I'm not going to be talking about that today. And I also rented Fallout 76, which I'm not going to be talking about that today.
You tease.
I know. But I am going to be talking about something that I am super, super excited about, and I am crazy obsessing over. And in a kind of slight twist to the way that we normally do these things, I've actually clued Paddy in on what I'm talking about. Because a lot of the time I can run through stuff, and you'd be like, "What? Huh? Who?"
And you'll hear quiet tapping in the background as I Google things quietly.
But in this case, it is two definite things, and I could chuck you to sort of trailers to give you an idea of the flavour and then kind of fill in the context. So,
and I have watched those trailers and I am ready to converse.
What are you bringing to the table? Which item shines in your darkness?
I've got something I've read, and I've got something I've played, and that's all I'll say until we're there.
Okay, you've got two things.
I've got two things.
I might have to. This document that I've got in front of me literally stretches back to February about stuff that we've not talked about. There must be 10 or 12 things on here, and I'm looking. I'm going like, oh yeah, what's that?
Well, if this is any indication of our contrary bastardness, one of the things is something I did yesterday. So,
well, what we can do is if we do the one thing each,
yeah,
and then we can maybe do another show with kind of one thing in it, because I've been listening to I love listening to Adam Buxton's podcast. It's one of my favourite things, and often those episodes are just over an hour, and they're great. And I often wonder how much time people have got on a journey.
So you're thinking,
or listening to it.
This episode is like a bite-sized, like, for us, bite-sized chunk of birthday cake.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, there's not too much cream. The cream's a bit filling sometimes. This is just nice. Just a nice bit of fruit. Just a little bit of icing, not too much cream.
But you know how last time we did, I did Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you did Red Dead. I think that was about right.
We clicked it in, I think hour and a half is what we ended up on. That felt right.
That's I'm happy with that because even if somebody has got a long journey and we've got like 2 episodes that they've not heard, they've still got time to kind of play one episode, finish it, and then start the other one, rather than kind of 3 hours of us nerding them out like 3 things each. So
unless that is what everybody wants, in which case, fine.
Yeah, talk to us. Because I do listen to longer podcasts as well, but we'll and I'm in the corner of like where I look at like 8-4 play. I'm like, oh, it's only 2 hours 40 minutes this one. So yeah, but hooray!
If I see a podcast less than an hour long, I think, what's wrong with that? What are they doing?
Yeah.
So they've introduced each other and then they finish. Well, I don't understand.
There must be minutiae that you're missing.
This is part 1 of 7, right?
This is my first copy of the day, and it's a glorious thing. I was watching. Okay. I will diversify and say I was watching Sarai Slay's Twitch stream of Fallout 76, and that was one of the things that made me want to rent it. Because I fancied my own opinion on it. I can be a contrarian bastard at the best of times.
Yes, you can.
Plus, there's so much hate out there on the internet for it, and many of that just speculative, and people just going like, "Oh yeah, such and such hates it, so yeah, that game's rubbish." So I thought I'd dive into it on that front.
Angry Joe said it was crap.
Everything that I saw on this stream was people talking about like finding tea, and then there was like a giant teapot, and I was like, "What is this? What the apocalypse is?" And I started my game, and the first thing I found was a coffee cup, and then I went and Pete was teasing me. He was just like, "But what if you find the coffee cup? What if you never find the coffee?" And then like about an hour later, I was like, "You may call me a dreamer, only one." So yeah, but that is a little dodge and sweep and move.
But we're not talking about that, are we?
No. So I'm going to start.
Go for it. Begin. As is your privilege and your honour on this day, on this CJ day.
As is the CJ day.
The Siege day.
No. Yeah, something like that. We got into trouble last time because people thought I was trying to say segue, and I wasn't. I was saying siege as in CEEJ. But what can you do? So my first one is a film called Garo Kami no Kiba. Now,
God of something, is that?
Sorry?
God of something? What does that translate to?
The God's Fang.
There we go.
Or Fang of the Gods.
I'm learning Japanese.
I really think so.
Fuck you.
Oh, I missed this.
Oh, that was great. That hurt.
So, all the Japanese superhero stuff, I know the least about Garo. On the surface, I know that it's a far darker hero. It was launched in 2005 and is very metal. Everyone is in leather. There are lots of Matrix-type fights, and the hero dons a gold armoured costume that makes him look like he lives in Anor Londo. And I think I read years ago that Ornstein and Smo, particularly Ornstein, was a tip of the hat towards Garo. But I can't.
Do you know, I wrote down one note after the trailer, and it was, he's orny, 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 orny.
That's good. You see, we're moving across so many songs today.
We're doing good.
Now that's what I call O-T-H. Volume 3. So yeah, it's been through numerous series since 2005, multiple specials and movies, and appears to be getting more and more popular. I saw Kami no Kiba crop up on the site I get my Japanese sub stuff from, and kind of fancied it. You know, one of those where you go, tonight, and then you just point at the telly.
I will watch this in my eyes, please.
Yeah. So like I said, my first experience of the franchise ran to one episode of the very first series. This was a few years ago, which was good. So I expected to be out of the loop. But much like the Kamen Rider crossover movies, which got me into that series, I was reminded of old comics. You know, where the appearance of a character didn't immediately instigate them talking about their backstory or what their powers do. They just did stuff. It looks cool. And I made note to sort of go, I'm going going to look at that. I'm going to dive into that. You know, with comics, I'd go to like Mart's and find out more about the characters and get back issues and stuff. With this, it's been like, oh yeah, you're really cool. So you know, you either know it or you don't, but I'm fine with that. Now, Garo may be the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, coolest. It's very cool. Like, let me see. Try to explain it. Garo itself is about creatures called horrors. They exist in the everyday, they feed on humans, can possess them, and can seemingly be created. I think there's like lots of different variations as to how a horror can exist. Now, combating them are the Makai. Makai knights are male, have soul swords, are clad in gleaming armour. They can kind of swoop the sword into the air, and all this armour just goes like, and they look a little bit like variations of Ornstein. Makai priests are female. Their combat is based around spells, but if you're asking me, the Makai priests are easily the most powerful of the two. They've still got martial arts, but also the magic, and seriously kick ass. And the dance of knight and priests in battle is a joy to behold. It's really superb. The priests kind of work in a instead of having like soul swords, they have brushes, and their magic works in a similar way to Akami. So they're like drawing in the air and stuff with the spells, and it's and you've even got the thing whereby, say, if they want to imprint a spell on a wall or wipe somebody's memory, there'll be like a piece of paper that they like put on somebody and then cast the spell, and then it's kind of neat.
That's cool.
The film, when I watched it, it is as camp as Christmas, but the commitment to that is extraordinary. Characters chew the scenery, spill forth huge monologues about motivations, defending the light against the darkness, all that stuff. But it's done with so much love, it's hard not to get shivers from it. Like I say, everybody's in leather, duster coats all over the shop. There's one character...
That's a personal Paddy favourite.
Yeah, there's one character in the movie who looks like she's straight out of Nier Automata. She's the costume designs in themselves are stunning, really good. So, in common with Kamen Rider is the ambition of the thing. It's just stratospheric and way beyond its budget. And if you're the sort of tart that thinks that anything is shit if it's not $300 to $500 million of Marvel, this isn't for you. As I understand it, when Garo first came out, it was pitched as having like double the budget of Kamen Rider episode, for example. But you know, if you turn your nose up at anything that's, you know, not looking real, and I still wager that a lot of stuff in those Marvel movies doesn't look real.
I would fully agree with you there.
Yeah,
I get annoyed at the CG now. It's like,
yeah, rubbery no physics Hulk, for example. But I don't know. For me, I accept this for what it is. But if you've ever wanted a Castlevania live-action TV show mixed in with a little Devil May Cry, touch Dracula, dash of the Twilight Zone, this may well be your jam. Princess Bride, I'd probably maybe chuck in there a little bit as well.
What?
Yeah, it's some of the dialogue is just fantastic. But so even though stuff is dark, there's so much joy here. It loves to laugh at itself, but give it any length of time and it'll have you believing in everything the world has to share and lapping it up with a grin that's sort of 10 miles wide. The film, Kame no Kiba, tells the tale of a woman called Banbi, who is the lady in the film who looks like she's out of Nier Automata.
Okay.
She's once on the side of light, but she's not gotten over the death of her lover. She asks a Makai knight by the name of Agari if she can borrow his armour so that she might summon her love for one last night. But it turns her plans run a little bit deeper as she uses Agari's armour to steal the armour from two more Mako knights, including Garo, robbing them of their power as well. This means the three Makai knights in the film are fighting without their armour, purely with the soul swords, in order to stop this from occurring. There's loads of twists and turns from there, with other horrors becoming involved, trying to intersect her plan to include their own interests, and the summoning of a legendary evil, the building of No Kiba, the God's Fang, an ark to take the horrors to the moon and end humanity.
Oh.
Yeah. So the film is flat out amazing and just had me going like, I need more of this. Like I say, there's tons of imagination, and it goes even more bonkers towards the end as I was sort of cooing at the screen, smiling like a loon. And it's the sort of thing Hollywood doesn't go near these days. Like, say, Princess Bride boing to mind when I tried to find a point of comparison in regard to the way things are delivered. Some fabulous touches as well. The three boys have an amazing chemistry between them. Kind of maybe a little bit Final Fantasy 15 in that regard.
Boy team. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
You had me at boy team.
And when the big bad turns up, he is fucking amazing. I mentioned about the boys swooshing about with their swords and all, but the girls being magic users, using their brushes and stuff. But these fight sequences where they'll be casting spells and they'll be like firing out chains from these like magic portals in the air and like pulling somebody that's attacking a Makai Knight back, and then like deflecting sort of magic and swords in other ways, and literally the dance between them all is just stunning. Favorite other stuff? Garo has a talking skull ring. There's a bit in the film, right? There's the Makai Knights and the Makai priests are in this like office building which has been overrun by horrors, like amazing sword fights going on, all this sort of stuff, and it just cuts to somebody who's obviously in a black duster, who's wearing shades, and they're holding a Jack Russell Terrier, and suddenly the Jack Russell goes and a bullet fires out of its mouth, and it literally every time it barks a bullet fires out of its mouth. Now Garo looks around and he spots on the floor a pair of nunchucks made of bones. He picks it up, throws it from behind cover, and the dog leaps out of the person's hand and chases after it.
What?
This is amongst like these phenomenally choreographed fight scenes. Like the boys are overrun, they're really sort of up against it, and yet there's the point where you just see kind of the horror holding the Jack Russell like this. And like the look on his face is exactly the look on your face when you're watching it.
Wow!
And I love the fact that they've got all these amazing fight sequences, but then it just stops to kind of throw out something ridiculous,
a bit silly, like a bit self-aware as well. Like it sounds like it's joyfully silly.
So I mentioned as well the big bad of the piece, a resurrected former Makai Knight gone bad, Jinga. Oh my, this boy.
This is the white-haired boy from the trailers, isn't it?
This is, and there's two versions of that white-haired boy from the two trailers.
Wow.
So
I've reeled. You have reeled me, sir.
So I'll go into that a little bit further on, but from first watch, I couldn't stop thinking about the film. And I've watched it so many times since. I'd earmarked it for my Tokusatsu morning that I shared with my mate Pete. Thought I'd check it out for a few minutes the night before. Ended up watching it. Then watched it the next day with Pete. And I've earmarked it for another watch again. So it absolutely dissolved the fatigue of early wake-ups. It's joyous. But like I say, it's doing something that I've not seen anything else doing. And it's interesting that the second time I watched something that's labelled as a dark show, it's not all grim and gritty. It's just a different tone, which reminds me of reading comics when I was a kid, and like the darker side of the DC universe was like Swamp Thing and Animal Man, and it was this was before they even went into Vertigo. There was just like, even in the Marvel comics, you got like Ghost Rider and Man Thing, and you got like you got Mephisto, and there was a deeper. Marvel did their own Dracula stuff as well, but I don't know. It's interesting seeing this sort of stuff set in the real world, because it just feels like you've got this hugely fantastical. And then it's set against the the backdrop of a city, and it kind of feels like the stuff that we don't see that's hiding in the everyday. Mm-hmm. And there's even a bit in one of the other Garo things that I've seen where they're walking around in these brilliant Castlevania type costumes, and on the first episode, one of them goes like, "Oh yeah, cast a spell, everybody thinks that we're normal people." And that's it. That just means for the rest of like the series or whatever, people just see them as like normal people, or if they're wandering through a school, they're like school children or something.
That's incredible.
It doesn't change the fact that they're still walking around in these like phenomenal looking garbs. It's just nobody pays them the notice because they dropped that 30-second sort of tidbit in the first episode, and then you just accept it.
Well, see, that's something, right? That's something. Not to divert quickly, but very quickly here. Obviously, the new series of JoJo's happening right now, part 5, about the gangster boys in Italy, right? And there is a section where they explicitly say, "Oh, gang members like to stay secret. They don't like to reveal themselves in public. They like to sort of go under the radar." It then hard cut to 6 beautiful fashion models walking down a normal street. With no irony whatsoever, no self-awareness. Like, I wonder who the stand users are in this picture.
See, I think the connection between those two is creators who have a very strong vision of doing whatever the hell they want to do, and whatever moves them, and not overly thinking about like, oh, but what would the audience think? Oh, is this not real enough?
Can we make a Funko Pop out of this?
Yeah, exactly. There's a very strong vision for these things, and there's even a bit where in the movie where they're pulled out of a certain place by the Mackay priest, and the place that they do this big sort of rallying call as to what they're going to do and where they're going to move forward from here is a go-karting track.
Yeah.
At night with nobody there, like lit amazingly, but. Again, it was one of those things where it was like, I love this. You've just like cleared them out of the place and you just landed where nobody would find you.
They've not just gone to Spooky Warehouse number 7.
No, so it's
that's awesome.
I dig that very, very, very much indeed. Now, sort of following on from the film, I noticed that there was a series called Jinga, Kami no Kiba.
Jinga, but that's the name of the bad guy, right?
So it's currently 7 episodes deep and is already essential. Like, it's quirky, less than obvious. The twist connection to Garo Kami no Kiba, the movie, is brilliant. And I'm obsessing over it. As a wee bit of a spoiler, the after credits sequence from the movie shows Jinga return to the Mackay realm and is confronted by the giant entity Messiah. Now, Messiah, just imagine like a more or less naked woman that's about 500 million foot tall, like walking through the landscape, like as a god.
Okay.
All like painted up in like light blue with like odd little bits of phenomenal jewelry on, but this is a god walking across the landscape. And Jinga's partner just goes, "Do you think you can take her?" And you just see Jinga smile. It was like, holy fuck. Spoiler 2, he can't. And is reincarnated in a different lifetime as the thing he hates most, light. So yeah, our boy's a good guy in this one, and it's
okay. Because I was trying to work it out, I couldn't quite gather it from the obvious because there's a whole film of information to take in first. So I was like, but he's a hero. Is it a bad guy season? I don't get it.
Right. It's interesting to watch it play out. So to give a little bit of context to it, so Jinga Kami no Kiba starts out with a flat out phenomenal 0 episode, exploring a horror that devours men for money, but spends it on feeding her 2 children. As the story plays out, it turns the woman was put in a situation where her partner and his girlfriend were going to burn the woman and her 2 children alive in this house. The husband smashed the glass over her head, and a horror emerged from the picture frame, offering up a pact to the woman for revenge in exchange for her soul. Now, in the aftermath, the horror, in the mother's form, looks after the kids, likes to see them happy, and the kids in turn are blissfully happy. To the point where they're in a conversation where one of them says they're going to be a sports star, and the other one's like, I'm going to be a manga creator, and they both promise that their mum won't want for anything, that she will be even happier than she is now. So what does the hero do? Do you cut down the mother for being a horror, particularly given she's still killing, or see the situation of a horror that's actually experiencing love, maybe, that's treating these children superbly, else is living out the woman's most powerful wish in a situation where she couldn't really sort of come back from it. As things progress, Jinga's bitten on the hand. A fanged scar forms, and we learn he has the ability to not just cut a horror down, but in doing so will separate the merger of human and horror, killing the monster and returning the person.
Okay.
Episode 3 was a huge standout as well. Seriously, one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen. It's about a former wrestler who's taken on the power of a horror, and he's cleaning up the neighbourhood by devouring the local scum. So where's the problem? The show sets its stall out that killing horrors is absolutely the most important thing. So regardless, Jinga and his team investigate. Turns out this former wrestler absolutely adored his family, would stop wrongdoings wherever he saw them. But as his kid cheered him on to finish off a certain villain, he sent them on the way, telling the kid that everyone deserves a chance to turn their life around. Now that person tracks down and murders the wrestler's family. And we see him in the aftermath, absolutely wrought with remorse. The point he identifies his family in the mortuary is a stunning piece of acting. And the breakdown is heartbreaking. I mean, I've seen plenty of this stuff before when it doesn't work. Michael Chiklis at the end of season 1 of The Shield was particularly false and embarrassing. Likewise, Ben Affleck in Jersey Girl was not great. But my word, this massive, and he is like a proper wrestling guy, proper chunky guy, breaking down because his family had been murdered, going against everything he believes in. It's just amazing. So this is the point that he's approached by the horror, offering revenge in exchange for the guy's soul. So at the end of the episode, it shows a new twist, a group that's interested in Jinga's abilities who intend to hunt him down. Now, is this group on the side of good, or are they on the side of the horrors? The outcome is fun, but holy fuck, the final few minutes. Episode 5 starts getting steadily creepier and creepier. Like we, the audience, might be in on something that a good chunk of the cast don't know, and it's unfolding with such delicious tease. It's terrifying. Episode 6 then takes this and ballparks it. I held my breath throughout. The instance they follow through on that is sublime. There's so much tension. It moves like this whole sequence moves like a dance sequence, a play. And it made me realise something about how it's doing horror. A lot of Western horror I've seen seems very deliberate. Else it's the monster closet. There it is, leaps out at you, gets you. Where's the next one? Whoop, monster. This one feels like the monster in the closet opening the door a little, peeking out, whispering venomous words. You know it's there. It's under your bed. Don't you dare close your eyes. And that, to me, is... oh my God. On that episode 6, I held my breath throughout watching it. The 2 times that I watched it. It's incredible how they managed to do this sort of stuff. Throughout, the direction is just perfect. Pause it at any point and you have a comic panel. Lighting is a joy. Action sequences are so amazingly choreographed. They have genuine weight, and the sword fights are exactly what I'm not getting from Star Wars. There's a physicality, a grace to it, and that's mesmerizing. It feels weighty. It doesn't feel like people are twiddling 1,000 things around and bouncing off walls and stuff. It just feels feasible. Which, when you're doing something that's slightly beyond our reality, still kind of grounds it.
It makes it easy to buy into it, doesn't it? Like, you're not sitting there going, oh, look at this CG blob fight this CG blob. I'm not that impressed. Whereas, humans doing stuff, genuinely more interesting.
Yeah, I think so. There's something about that fight between Ben and Darth, which in Star Wars, which is very samurai, and I think things have become far more twiddly and special effects based. Again, it's nice in the first Star Wars when you see sort of the spaceship battles. They actually feel weighty. They actually feel like, and I know the initial replacements for the CG shots in Star Wars were sequences from old black and white war films with like Spitfires and stuff like, and I like that. Give me more of that. I'm going to give massive props to Jinga's actor Masahiro Inao. Light Jinga is very understated. He's very thoughtful. He's very quiet, decisive, caring. It's very subtle. Now, in the movie, he's absolutely captivating as evil Jinga. Like, his performance is like my perfect Joker, existing in the spontaneous, like, delighted and fascinated by his own actions, like, in the instant. Dark Jinga scares me more than anything I've seen. He absolutely terrifies me. I'm
going to make a thing I got, a visual cue I got when I was watching that. That motherfucker's Dio from JoJo.
You see,
he's a Dio. Yeah,
I see that 100%. And it's interesting to see this stuff live action. And the series, or the various series and specials and films and stuff, stretch back a long time, and to see this sort of stuff as a live action TV series with this much ambition and not numbing itself for being on television is fab. It makes me happy to see that sort of stuff happening. So yeah, I watched the movie. I'm watching the TV series as it's going on. Show's been around for 13 years, so I was like, right, I'll just have a look at something else, like briefly. I'll have a bit of a dive in.
I'm going to clickety-boo into the past.
Yeah. So I clicked on a series called Garo, the One Who Shines in the Darkness.
Okay. So
starts off big, cheeky, violent, surprising, and then staring at the screen, and I realised the lead character was young Dogai Ryuga from Garo Kami no Kiba. So,
okay.
Not only was this the very start of his story, but in the middle of the first step, there's a glimpse of Makai Priest Rina, oh my heart, and the end sees him joined by Takaru and Agari from the film as well. None of them get on. Like, Dogai is a bit of a dick, frankly, and it seems fitting in contrast to the film, where everyone trusts one another, gets on with one another. 5 years later, they've been through loads of stuff together and stuff. But here they are, all dicks.
I'm a big fan of dickheads in my fiction, so you're selling this very well.
It's great to kind of see them like working as a unit in the film, and then just to see them all as like, very individual personalities, and I dig that. I mean, the One That Shines in the Darkness is the nearest thing I've seen to a live action anime. It looks like it was made in the 80s, bizarrely enough. I'm watching, not the greatest stream of it, but everyone is wearing bollock loads of makeup, so it gives it that certain sheen. The other Sunday saw me wandering further into the series, and it's hitting in with a fair few surprises. Not only am I really taken with the battles that exist with those smudges in the frame that I mentioned before, but there's a few modern day echoes too. There's a part in the film where the three boys are. It mentions that they're the people that saved Vault City, and this is the point where our Garo, which is the second Garo in the timeline, walks into Vault City for the first time. So Vault City reports no crime, has very few contrasts. A lot of contrast to modern day. Yet on the other side of it sits the place where apparently cost of living's cheap, medicines are free, people are happy, and yet the series horrors often exist in politicians, big businessmen, those in powerful positions.
Okay.
But those people themselves aren't always vile. They're often good to those around them, are liked, but when double-crossed or not getting what they want, or if they just fancy feeding, they will do so to overcome those obstacles. People, there's a giant wall outside Vault City, and people are vetted as to whether they can come in or not. But Vault City reports no crime. No crime exists in Vault City. And yet, everything is under the surface.
This is cool. I'm looking at some pictures while you've been talking. The outfits are really good. I like the outfits. They look like a fucking MMO party.
This is it. Like the costuming throughout is just stunning. You know when you stare at something and you go like, I really like the materials you've made that from.
Yeah.
But it also feels sort of quite that they've used a lot of traditional materials as well. One thing that the film, one of the characters in the one who shines in the darkness and in No Kiba is a guy called Agari, and he's kind of the guy who uses bows and staffs, but mainly bows, and he wears glasses. And normally people in glasses are like pegged as, you know, the geeky one, the intelligent one that maybe can't fight as well. Like, Agari's absolute fucking bastard. He's phenomenal. Kicks so much ass. And there is a moment in the film, which I won't mention here, which is seriously one of the greatest things. It's just, it's so... Some people will look at it and just go like, oh, that can never happen, that's really cheesy. But I just went like, no, when I realised something was going to happen. And then like, oh my God, you did that. That was amazing. So it's, yeah, that's a wee bit of a diversion. But as...
I think I know which one you're talking about. I'm looking at pictures. I think I know who you mean. And yeah, he looks...
He's
I get Ignis vibes off of him.
100%. It's almost like someone's crossed Ignis and Bayonetta.
Oh my God! Yeah, you've got it. That's it. You've done it.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's quite hard to separate them when you see No Kiba, like the film, because they're all matured and they all get on together. But in the one who shines in the darkness, like I say, Agari is just super, super confident in himself and a bit of a dick. Takaru is very cheeky. He's a bit of a player. Mm-hmm. He's just takes the piss out of everybody, and he's like he's the mouthpiece. And then Garo in this one as well is just super confident in what he does, and laughs at people, and he's very much like a swashbuckling Errol Flynn type in this one, which is cool. But as this series has gone on, I've realised the show is everything I want from Batman. Like heroes fighting for the city against tyrannical corporations, monsters, the heroes themselves existing as myths, outlaws, but attempting to change the status quo day by day, person by person. Episode 6 in this revealed its first big bad, and he takes on Ryuga, Agari and Takaru and absolutely paced the floor with them. The fight goes from a skyscraper to the ground, the majority of it taking place on and inside a moving train and off again. It's genuinely phenomenal. Like literally this train's going along, like the bad guys like separating the train apart and stuff, punching people through windows who then make pylons and then bounce back like through the glass further down the train and are coming back. It's just... The choreography, again, is stunning. Absolutely stunning. The CG in these shows has always been a weak point, I've mentioned before, but the baddies being from the Makai realm, like another world, works. Plus the design work and the way the movie has them in particular has a real Harryhausen feel to the designs. Mm-hmm. Maybe even a Dark Souls feel.
Okay.
I guess that clockwork feel that Demon's Souls has is kind of there in some of them as well. Mm-hmm. So I've had 3 slices of Garo, and there's 13 years of it to dive into. They announced the other day another TV series and a movie coming next year, both with characters that aren't anywhere near this. So they're using different characters again. I am obsessed.
Wow, so yeah, that looks really cool. I've been, like I say, while I've been talking, I've been quietly sort of Googling images of the stuff you've been talking about. This looks like my shit.
It's really good.
Because what has sold me, because I realise I am a superficial piece of shit, but the coats are all really nice. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm like for a coat.
No, it's great. The things
it looks anime as shit, but in a good way. Like it looks like it should have been an anime, but they've done it live action and it hasn't suffered.
The thing that they do as well is that every line of dialogue means something. There's nothing in the way of kind of your modern day writing for the trade paperback Brian Michael Bendis sort of like everybody talking in the way that people talk, with repetition and just long-winded pieces of dialogue. Every piece of dialogue lands. They know when to be quiet and they know when to say something. And oftentimes the way that they make the most of 22 minutes is staggering. And you go like, that was 20 odd minutes. Like there's one episode of The One Who Shines in the Darkness where there's a woman that's appearing to men at night and leading them down into this room where, and the woman's a horror, and they're being fed upon. So the three boys look into it, but because they're underground, kind of they can't bring the light in, so they can't transform into their armor, and so there's a plan that's formed where Garo goes down to try and distract the horrors. Takeru is planting these little pieces of paper for the Makai priest Rina, and he's sort of placing them all across like various points of this sort of underground cavern. And then the final point of it is Rina like placing one of these pieces of paper outside. The moon lines up in a certain place. We realise that Agari is standing atop a building. He charges kind of his arrow with the power of the moon, fires it down to this piece of paper, which then does like literally like all of these bits of paper inside this cavern. It transfers the light as it goes through, as he's trying to like break the light through and like actually hit this giant sort of blob-like creature that's underneath it and allow the moon to come through so the boys can transform. But they have all this build-up, and then it just like pulls away and cuts to Agari on top of a building, like pulling this bow back, and you see the moon like rising behind him, and you're like, oh my god, what a tease! That's amazing. But it did all of this in sort of 22 minutes, and it's fantastic. It has no problems with everybody can be beaten up if they're a horror. So blokes, kids, women, everybody gets punched. It's very unilateral in that regard. But it's I'm properly obsessing over it. And there are so many twists and turns. It's so well written. Nerd out. So yes, any questions, my good man?
You've basically covered everything again. You're very good at this. You exhaust all the questions I have. I write things down and then you answer them, so I just cross them out again.
There's with regards to like the costuming, there was somebody that I saw on Twitter that just like they were looking at Jinga in the new TV series, and he went, "Me, that coat is ridiculous." And then he was like, "Also me, I have to have that coat."
Yeah. Don't attack me like that.
But they are doing these things in very much a way of like an anime might design things, but they're doing it in the real world, and everybody is super into it as well. Like nobody's particularly hamming it up. Everybody is into being in Garo, which is ace.
So I have a question. I do have a question then. If I wanted to start, where would you say I would start?
There is. I'd watch the film. I'd watch.
And what was the full title of that film? Because it's getting a little confusing.
Garo Kami no Kiba.
Garo Kami no Kiba.
Now, cool. It has a lot of Garo has been uploaded to YouTube, so it is on there. The YouTube subs are all right, but whoever's doing the subs sort of seems to be inserting their own little jokes in there in brackets towards the end, which is a bit bizarre. But yeah, it is on there like that. I'm sure the person's called Guard I Lucy or something like that. That's put them on. But the movie, the TV series, and the whole series of The One Who Shines in the Darkness are up there. But yeah, there's some fantastic stuff. I think you dig it a lot because I think you get the tone.
And the trailers that I've gelled with that more than I think anything else you've shown me. I reckon because the trailers look like my kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's not. I said earlier on that it's kind of campus Christmas, and I didn't mean that in the regard that in kind of a derogatory way. I just love the flamboyance of it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but not stupid. That
you can see like these boys like wearing like the most beautiful outfits and wandering around and just I don't know. It feels mythical, but the way that they sell you the world is phenomenal. Even in like the One Who Shines in the Darkness, when you see Dougie Ryuga walk into like Vault City, and people are giving him like it's this sort of heaven. Like people are smiling at him. He's sitting with like old folks and talking and stuff, and he's being given food, and you realise that it is this on the surface this beautiful place, but later on when he's fitted up for murder, and he's that's put across all the all the TV screens across the city and stuff. They have a similar moment with the same people, and they're all like terrified of him. It's brilliant. It's really good. But yeah, I'm really taken by it. But I think you'll dig the one who I think you dig all of it, frankly. But if you watch the movie Garo Kami no Kiba, I think you'll have a great time. You won't know what's going on. It won't matter.
That's fine.
It's just cool boys doing amazing things, and then you go like, "Oh right."
Because cool boys doing amazing things is my brand. So
because there is some of the stuff that I've seen afterwards where like Jinga in the movie, where like the dark Jinga. He takes somebody and he says, "I'm going to give you my favourite face," and he sort of transforms them into somebody else. And there's a fight between this girl and the Makai priest Rina, which is amazing. And I got the impression that this was perhaps like Rina's best friend or something like that from like another series who passed away. When I watched the TV series Jinga Kami no Kiba, like Jinga has his own kind of talking ring on, but the ring is styled after that actress's face, who apparently is a former lover of Jinga, and is voiced by the same woman.
Oh, okay.
Which is really cool.
Awesome.
I love little bits like that. It shows that they're super paying attention. Oh god, this is a super piece of nerd that I found as well. Somebody noticed that in one of in the big action sequence, I think it was from the Kami no Kiba movie, that somebody noticed that Garo's fight style in that, he was actually spelling out the letters Garo in the way that he swung his sword.
What?
And I was like, what? Who? Why? How?
All right, Zorro, calm down.
It's fantastic, but literally, like, you wouldn't know if if somebody hadn't figured it out. But clearly, that was something somebody on the crew just went, "What if you did this?" And they were like, "That's really good."
Do you reckon anyone will notice? Maybe we'll put it in. We'll see what happens.
So, but I will link you to the movie because
Brilliant.
I think you will have a very, very good time. And I think that the moment that I was talking about, which is like many people would go, "Oh no, don't do that." You will be like, "Please do that, please! Oh my god, this is happening. That's amazing."
That's good because I need something a bit sort of like cool, because we've just finished watching season 2 of Overlord on Crunchy. And I kind of drifted with it a bit. I'm kind of like, I was liking season 1, and season 2's kind of gone a bit off the rails a little bit for me. So I'm in the market for something a bit sort of,
I think Laura would quite like it as well, to be honest.
Yay! If Laura likes it, it means we can watch it more.
Yeah, because there's beautiful boys in it, for a start. There's also beautiful girls. The girls kick 17 shades of ass. They're not a support class at all. They're amazing. Plus, like I say, there's that really strange Princess Bride, Devil May Cry, Castlevania type feel, which nothing is doing. And I just dig the heck out of it.
Cool. Sold. Actually sold. When usually we say, yeah, I'm going to check that out, and then we don't. I might actually do that.
I can either send you a proper download link, or I can link you to the YouTube, which is, cool. It might be easy to watch on your telly.
We shall indulge in our piracy offline.
Yeah, well, to be honest, if all of this stuff was made available for me to buy properly, I would 100% kill to have this to own forever in amazing quality.
There you go.
So no.
There you go. Get my boy a Blu-ray.
Also, one of the people on my Twitter is actually an English gent that's moved across to Japan to do stunt work, and he's in the film as well.
Cool.
So yeah, Tom Constantine is, when you watch the film in the skyscraper scenes, there's one of the horrors has got like a big beard and stuff. That's Tom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is kind of neat. So,
look out for
that's my thing. But if the resourceful of you, if you are interested, you will find Garo Kami no Kiba on YouTube. Like I say, quite spotty subtitles in places, but it doesn't get in the way of you enjoying it.
Superb. YouTube helps, because that's where I watch most of my stuff. So
cool. I'll link you immediately.
Brilliant. Click the thing. Brilliant.
Tell me about a thing.
Okay, I had 2 things, so I've decided, one of my thing was 3 things in one thing, one was one thing. So I'm going to talk about one thing.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the thing I did yesterday. I got a game.
Okay.
I got a game. After talking about it with Laura's mum said, all right, I'll buy it for you. You just get it and I'll give you the money later, so that'll be your Christmas present. And we were going to wait, and we thought, do you know what? Bugger it. I want to play it now. So Black Friday deals at CD Keys. Got myself a discount code thing to put on the store.
I think I know what you're going to tell me. I have no context for this. Are you going to talk to me about Tetris Effect?
I'm going to talk to you about Tetris Effect.
Oh man!
Let me
interject briefly on this, because one of the guys who was the founders of 8-4 Play, who are amazing folks in the world of translation, have done things like your Monster Hunters and Xenoblade Chronicles X, and they're really, really good. Mark McDonald left 8-4 Play to go and work at Mrs. Company. Ooh. And he's doing all the PR for this and all the promotion stuff, and linking huge amounts of people to folks on Twitch and stuff. Without owning this game, I'm mesmerised by it. As a Lumines fan, like Lumines, one of my top 5 games ever,
yeah,
I kind of look at this and just go, why haven't you got this yet? Well, and I can't answer that.
I nearly bought it on day 1, but we thought, no, we'll wait for Christmas. We'll save it as a Christmas Day treat. We'll finish get things out of the way, and then we'll have a day, and we'll just sit there with the VR headset on and play some Tetris. But no, turns out can't wait. So about 2-3 weeks ago, they dropped a demo for it, and I'll be honest, I was interested in it, but I saw the price. It's like 35 quid, but that's quite a lot of money for Tetris, really. It looks cool, but it is just Tetris, surely. How wrong was I? And the demo
You were
dropped.
raving about that demo, though. To me,
you were
really freaking out.
Yeah, so demo appeared, like, it's only up for the weekend. It's like, well, okay, I've got the weekend off. Fuck it, let's have a go. So we downloaded it, not expecting that much. We've got the VR now. We've got the PlayStation VR, and we're always looking for things to do with it.
You've got VR.
I've got a Helmeto. So yeah, I thought, what's looking for stuff to do? So let's get that download and give it a go. And like Laura's like, yeah, I'll give it a go then. All right. So I let Laura have first go on it. because like it's Tetris. We'll get it set up so you can have first go. Oh my god, this demo was I think, best advert for a product I've played in a very, very, very long time.
How so and why?
Well, so it gives you like the very basic first three levels. So the way you play the game, there's like a journey mode, which is like the almost open brackets campaign story mode of it, where you kind of go through these levels and kind of work through just playing Tetris in the levels with different effects and things happening. So it gives you the first three, which you play sort of in a row, one after the other. And there's no loading between them. They kind of warp and swoosh between each other when you kind of finish one, which is cool as shit. So it's such a good combination of music and visuals and game and zen and just. You can really zone out in that kind of way that that one night where you doubled your best score on Humanities that night when you just played and played and played.
Oh my god! When I woke up in the middle of the night, woke up and I was playing Lumines and I doubled the in Dream. I doubled my previous high score, and then of course when I realised what I was doing, I absolutely everything just fell apart instantly.
You fucked it, yeah. The levels start off quite quiet. So in VR particularly, it is gorgeous. You've got your Tetris block, in front of you, your Tetris grid, which isn't actually that big, it's not massive. And then you've got quite a lot of stuff around you, like there's sort of swishing colours and things. And the first one starts off quite dark. There's a couple of little lights, you can see the bottom of a sea floor. And then as you sort of start putting blocks down, you sort of hear little sort of ba, ba, da, ba, boo, ba, as you're moving the blocks around. It does little sound effects with the movements, which sound lovely. You start making your first couple of lines, and then the beat starts kicking in. And lights come up in the background, and you start seeing things moving around, and you get a few more lines, and it speeds up a little. And
is it one of those where there's extra percussion from dropping the blocks and kind of moving things around, and it just adds to the joy of it? And
it is just it could just sound like random noises over the music, because they've done such a good job of picking the kind of sounds that go with each level. They don't sound out of place at all. You can drop a block whenever you want, and it will sound okay. The first level uses the music from that first trailer, with the woman singing in the background about we're all connected. It was wonderful. As you're playing, you feel yourself drifting away and melting as you progress through, and you're just putting Tetris together. It's just the actual main gameplay of the main game is just Tetris. There's the extra zone mode on top, which I'll tell you about in a second, but the basic gameplay, it's just Tetris. There's nothing that different to it, but the visuals and the sort of the soundscape, what's the word I'm looking for? The synesthesia of the whole thing.
Tell me about the VR aspect, because it's one of the only things that holds a fascination to me. Res would be the other one. For losing myself in kind of VR, it genuinely tempts me towards VR. This does,
yeah. Well, I think you can get. I think there is a deal out with it, and I think Beat Saber as well somewhere, which is very enticing if I hadn't had that already, because I do want to get Beat Saber as well at some point. But yeah, the VR aspect of it. So you can play it 2D on your telly, and don't get me wrong, on 2D as well, it's really, really good. It still plays beautifully in 2D, but VR just gives you that extra level of that extra dimension. Ha 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 ha. Because it surrounds you, you can literally you can zone right in. Focus on the blocks. You can have a quick look around, at what's going on around you, but you can really just focus, mellow your brain out, and just sort of soak it in. It's not. I wouldn't say it's particularly stressful for the most part. There's obviously a few times when the speed ramps up to a silly point. You're like, I can't keep up. The blocks are too fast. But for the most part, you can just sit there and just veg, and just play a nice game of Tetris.
I saw Mark was talking about, because he's been really proactive on Twitter with responding to people that are enjoying it and stuff. And there are a lot of people that have said it's been amazing to combat anxiety. A lot of people really kind of finding a meditative quality and a level of zen him playing it, which, you know, from my previous love of Lumines, I can 100% see.
I can see that for certain. So as you kind of progress through, like, so when you beat a level, you've got to hit like 36 lines or 30 lines. Like, there's different difficulty modes, so you haven't got to like get fucked by the game. You can set it a little easier if you are having problems later, which we ended up doing because it got a bit extreme later. But as you kind of progress through, you'll hit the kind of 30 lines mark. And then the sort of the percussion will sort of kick in the back, and the screen will start pushing towards you, and everything sort of bursts in front of you. And the next one kind of whooshes in from the back and kind of appears, and then you're playing another different song, different level, different background, different setup. And like part of the fun when I was playing with Laura was like, what's next? What we're going to see next? What was this one? I've written down some of the better levels that we've seen.
The one that I saw, because I've watched a little bit on Twitch. I watched some of the like master players playing it on Twitch, and I love the one that starts off like the Game Boy, and then just goes like super techno.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I know of it. Yeah,
I will mention at this point because I found these tweets. I went from Mark's Twitter to a guy that was streaming on Twitch called Sweeto Green Tea. He was a really, really friendly, lovely fella who was talking to us in between levels. And these are two tweets that link to one another. Mark saying, and this will mean more to you than it does to me. That's 167 lines cleared starting at Master Mode speed level M26.
What the fuck?
My eyes can't even keep up just watching it. Green Tea is insane. This was followed by another tweet, and the very next thing I see is Green Tea hitting speed level M29. First and only person to 280 lines.
How?
He also mentioned he mentioned on the 84 Play podcast that somebody did something that the creators didn't think was possible, because I think it's 20 lines is the maximum like depth, isn't it, of like the place where you sort of place.
Yeah. 20 lines deep. Yeah.
Somebody did a 21, and because the blocks will literally just stick out of the top of like beyond it. Somebody had timed it to do a Tetris at 21, and they were saying like the game didn't quite know what to do with itself. It was just like piling all these like things on the screen at the same time. But yeah, they're seeing stuff that none of them even vaguely thought was possible.
Wow.
But yeah, this Sweeto Green Tea is a lovely gentleman. Really good English as well, but to be so calm and so lovely, like talking in between, like doing these amazing feats with Tetris Effect is crazy cool.
I don't understand how people can behave at that level. I don't understand how it's even possible. So, like, me and Laura were playing, and as you play the main game, like, it speeds up to level, like, 8 or 9. Obviously, the levels they're on are so far and above what we would reach. 15 was the highest I saw, and at that point, the blocks are dropping so fast, you have to kind of rotate them into place with that kind of bottom hold that you get with Tetris, where you can kind of move them around a little bit before they kind of stick. It's the only way I could deal with it. I have no idea how a human being can deal with it faster than that.
What I want you to do is, if we've learned anything from Lumines, I want you to set an alarm for 2 o'clock in the morning, get up and see if you beat your top score.
Just drift downstairs in a funk.
Yeah. And Laura comes down the next day and just your eyes are like ping pong balls with like a little marker in the middle of them. You're just like, huh?
You're right. Speed 84. Huh? Yeah. Can't see anymore.
Paddy, what are you doing? Like, game over.
Yeah. Morning. Hello. Well, I mean, like, the thing with the speed as well, like in the journey mode, it won't just naturally raise, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it does big jumps. So there's a particular level early on which is like it starts in like a canyon, and you see some like glittery horses inside of it that kind of start running around, and sort of there are men riding them. And that goes from speed 1 to speed 5, which is fine. That's okay. And then it goes to speed 9 out of nowhere. To which Laura shouted the phrase, and I nearly fell off the sofa, "Tetris fucked me."
Box quote.
Literally, Tetris fucked me. which led to her doing it wrong and saying the phrase, "I've Tetris this up." Because what she'll say, if she's having a bad time, is she'll say, "I've titted this up. You know, I've made a mistake. I've done a tit up." So, yeah, "I've Tetrised this up" is what we now say when it goes to fuck. Which was fun. Something as well, the little noises that you make as you're clearing lines from different level to level. There are some great ones, and there are ones that have already become verbal tics for Laura.
Okay.
There's one level where it goes, I think it's the jellyfish level, where it goes, "Billa," when you drop a piece down. And every time she'd go, "Billa," quietly, while she's playing with the headset on and the earphone, and she's just quietly going, "Billa," in the side.
I can understand that entirely.
There's "Billa," there's "het," there was "Ahoo," and my favourite one, or her favourite one, when you get a good line, "Dugida."
God, this is now taking me back to like points where because I used to play Luminous on PSP before bed, and I realised that I had to stop doing that because I was seeing blocks falling in front of my vision during the day.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of I realise I'm sort of swaying as I'm moving down the corridor at work, and I'm hearing like, shake your body down to the ground.
So the variety of levels is really good as well. Like the different sort of visual sea and soundscapes that you go to. Like there are definitely like themes. There's windy ones, there's fiery ones, there's earthy ones, there's watery ones, and there's even a mode later where you can pick out like, I want to play 4 water themed levels, please. There's such variation. You've got ones that are about fireworks, and you're dropping like Chinese lanterns at the blocks, and they sort of explode, and they go boof, and fireworks go off in the background. There's jellyfish level, which is always Laura's favourite. She loves jellyfish and sparkles, and there was a level full of jellyfish and sparkles. She had the best time.
That was almost like it was to order.
It was literally, oh, it's Laura's level. It's Laura time. There's one where it's really bright. So it starts and you're kind of like, whoa, like it hurts your eyes at first. It's very, very bright, and it's like windmills floating through the air. You know, like that Gorillaz video.
No.
With the floating windmill on a little island.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's a floating windmill on islands, and they're sort of floating towards you, and the Tetris blocks you're dropping are made of tiny cogs, which are kind of spinning as well, which is just really, really cute, and they kind of make little sort of noises when they drop, little sort of cracky volume noises. There's not even that much of a music on this stage. It's more of an ambient one. But as you rotate your Tetris pieces, the windmill blades will spin a little bit left or right with you.
Okay.
Which is bonkers. Like, because Laura only noticed it on our second or third play of the level. Like, I thought, rotate your piece for a second. Rotate. The windmills are moving.
So is this kind of the... Because I know you're playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at the minute. Is this the most played game in your house?
Yesterday, yes. Because we bought it yesterday.
Oh, okay. I got you.
We've played one day. Like, these are all notes from day one. Yeah. It's going to be fighting over the TV for a while, which is great. But the levels evolve as well. So this windy level, like the wind will pick up. So when you get sort of about a third of the way through, things start blowing, and you hear seagulls going off in the background, and you sort of hit the sort of next third of the level, and then the sky gets all red, and it's like a proper storm, and these windmills are going a bit crazy. Like really, really like cool. What else have we got? There's a desert level that starts with like just like a view of a desert with the Tetris thing just hanging in the air. Like it's like, oh, I'm just looking at a picture of a desert here. You're like, this is a desert with some sparkly camels walking along. And as that one progresses, you end up on the moon. Because Laura's like, wait, this desert's dark. This is the night. Wait, that's the Earth. I'm on the moon.
What's is Laura playing just sitting in front of the TV, or has she got the helmet on? Because I'd imagine it, especially if she's chirping away with the helmet on, that must be quite funny.
It's really, really funny, is the thing. So what we did last night is we set up with the VR, and we were just sort of taking turns. So the way that the campaign is set up, you play sort of 3, 4, or 5 levels in a row. So we do the chunk of the campaign, and then swap the helmet over, and you can watch on the screen what's happening, so you can see what they're seeing as well. Several times we got fucked up because we were looking at the level. Like, oh, that's cool. Look, there's a turtle over. Oh shit! Hang on, the game's still playing. Oh no! Oh, it's sped up. Oh dear. I fucked myself. Was another thing that shouted out. Like, I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I've gone very dry there for a second. There's a level later on with dolphins.
Are you going for kind of just doing a line at a time, or are you getting more confident to sort of make sure that there's a large amount of blocks that are maybe waiting for a certain thing to kind of
Welcome to the difference between the way Laura plays and the way I play. I like to go for the big boy move. I like to go for the line piece down the side. I go for Tetrises. Laura tends to try and clear as much as she can, as fast as she can. She goes for single pieces, generally. And she always tells me off for stacking too high because I get too greedy. It's like, just drop your line piece now. No, I'll hold out a bit longer. I want to get 2. It'll be fine. No, you can't. And then that one square block that you can't fit in will drop like, oh, wait, no. Even with the holding pieces where you can put one in your thing to bring out later, like, you fucked yourself. And it's always hubris. It's always my own fault. And as it gets faster, like, the ability for yourself to screw yourself, as anyone who has played Tetris will know, you will guaranteed fuck yourself up several times. Like, oh, this is fine. I'll just put that. Wait, hang on. No. Oh, I've done it again.
Oh, them memes.
I've blocked myself in yet again. However, Tetris Effect gives you a way out. So what Tetris Effect adds now is a zone mode, okay? And I'm going to do my best to explain what zone mode is. It's actually quite simple. As you play, you build up kind of special power as you're playing up, and about sort of 3/4 of a level is enough for you to get this meter up. And you can activate zone mode, so you can hit both the shoulder buttons, and everything freezes. Like, it goes to like a special visual effect, the backgrounds will vanish, it goes to a special effect, and then the game slows right down, so you can basically start building lines as fast as you can to clear them off. So as you make lines, they don't immediately clear, they drop down to the bottom of the stage. So say you've got, well, you fucked yourself up, you left a massive gap in the middle and you need to get back to it, and you've just got a thin line on top of it. If you activate zone mode, you can clear that line. That line will then smash to the bottom of the level. Everything else moves up a bit, and you've then opened up that gap that you couldn't get to. With some clever placement and some clever timing, this is how people get those, 10, 12, 15, 20 Tetris line clears in one go. Because you have, I think, about 15 seconds to smash as many blocks in as you can and not fuck yourself up. There have been a couple of times where doing this has made it worse because of poor planning. Like, I'll put that there and wait, hang on a second, no, I fucked myself even worse here. Oh dear. I got an rapturous, which is 8, which I was quite happy with. I would like a 10 next. I don't think I'm that good yet, but I would like a 10 next. It's definitely a 2-part thing. You can either use it, like in Guitar Hero when you've got your star power, you can either pop it to get like a super score boost if you're feeling a bit cocky, or it's a get out of jail card. Like, shit, it's going wrong. Right, zone mode. I need to take a second and think this out, and like, it gives you a second to breathe, to maybe dig yourself out of a situation that you've put yourself in and allow you to continue playing the Tetris. I like it, and it's not in every mode at all. Like, it only really turns up so far, we've noticed, in the Journey, which is the main campaign, and a couple of the extra modes later. They generally turn it off, and you can actually set up the visual display, so you can turn off all your score settings. You can just have the zone mode displayed. You can adjust the size. You can adjust how much the controller vibrates, how spangly the effects are when you drop. If you'd rather have a more quiet, less flashy, I don't know why you'd want to do that, because it's delightful. You can turn all the effects right down or right up if you want. So you can again add to that zoning out mode. But yeah, this zone mode really, really helps. I like it a lot. Like, Laura's not quite found her feet with it yet, because the way she plays tends to be more about clearing one block at a time, so she doesn't get those big piles of blocks that she's got to deal with. But we are getting there with it. And I think it's a great addition. Really, really different addition. And it has involved us both shouting, "You've got zone!" Like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, thank you. Because you're so focused on the Tetris, on the blocks falling, like, you don't notice stuff on the outside, which is a crime, because the stuff going on the outside is really rad. There was a level, right, called New York Jazz, and it starts off with like buildings in the background, and you get like, when you get like the car headlight effect, where you see like headlights whoosh past.
Yeah.
Don't see a car, you just see a stream of light. You see that, and then as you drop things down, you'll hear like piano notes, like little bling, 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 bling. And as the level progresses, it gets brighter and brighter, and then an actual piano piece starts playing in the background that you're basically jamming over the top of.
Oh man,
it's so really cool. You've got like a sort of ethereal, spangly subway map flying past you as you're playing as well. And again, in the VR, it's fabulous. The stuff that goes in front of the screen doesn't even affect you, because you're focused on the thing. Things that would in 2D, I think, put you off, do not put you off in 3D. They kind of scamper around, but you're not looking at it. It's kind of blurry in the foreground. You don't notice it.
That must be super immersive, but also like I was saying, like very, very zen. It sounds wonderfully calming.
So there's like probably about 15 more levels I could probably talk about, like different things they did. There was a snowy mountain one where you end up seeing Aurora Borealis. There's the classic Mitsubishi level of here's a blue thing, here's an orange thing. They're going to hate each other for a while. That's the level. Every game he's ever made, there's one level like that. Laura played a lot of Child of Eden.
Okay. That's any good?
It's good, yeah. It plays with a move controller. She loved it. She really, really enjoyed that. And that had a level where I think it was either 2 trains or 2 men running. One was blue and one was orange, and they kind of hated each other. This was 2 balls. One was blue, one was orange, and they hated each other. But there's always a level like that, and I was waiting for it, and I actually went, yay, it's that level! I knew it would be here eventually. There was like a kaleidoscope level with butterflies in it. So I was like, well, what's going on? Laura went, it's a kaleidoscope. I went, no, it's not. Yes, it is. And it extended around behind me as well. I took a second and looked behind and it was everywhere. It's so distracting. So deliciously distracting. But that's just the main journey mode. Like, that's just the main meat of the campaign. There's a whole other game under here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whole other game. So you've got 2 modes you can pick at the start. You've got Journey or Effects. Journey is the campaign, and Effect is more of a free play mode, so you can kind of choose what you want to do. Goodness me, Effect mode is good. So you can choose an avatar for yourself. I'm currently a rainbow manta ray.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Of course.
To be honest, I've always seen you as being a rainbow manta ray, and just didn't like to say anything.
Me. You choose where you live on the map, so you can kind of point, and there's like a map made out of Tetris blocks, so you can kind of pick England. And then you'll basically see a big map of the Earth, so you'll see the globe, and your avatar will be sort of orbiting it slowly, and you'll see other friends that have got it. Their avatars will flow behind you as well. So I'm seeing people's usernames that I recognise. Like, I know that person. I know that person. I know that person. Along with, like, randos as well. Kind of like, you know, like the Miiverse sort of stuff, where you see people wandering out and go, I know who you are. It's a bit like that. You sort of see your own things wiggling around. So that's kind of fun. But then you can go in and actually play the game. The games you can pick, there's about 12 options, I think, divided into 4 different sets. There's, like, Classic, there's Relax, there's Adventurous, and something else that I can't remember. So there's different modes set up for different feelings. Like, if you want to play an easy one, you'll pick a mode out of the Relax playlist, and it might be clear 150 lines. You can fail as much as you want. It'll just reset the board every time. See how fast you can do it. Or there's just pick a random level. It'll be set on whatever level you want. Play it quietly. Enjoy yourself. Just bliss out. You know, just zone out and enjoy it. There's puzzle modes in there. I particularly like the puzzle modes on this. There's one where you start off with like a sort of a slightly messy grid. And I think it's called Infection, I think it is, where you have to clear out infected blocks. So certain of the blocks are purple. And you have to build your Tetris up and, you know, clear lines and clear out these purple blocks and get as many as you can within a time limit. And each one you get gives you another few seconds to add on, so you can do a bit more. And every, I think, 30 seconds, a couple more lines push up from the bottom of the stage. So you're always fighting back these kind of purple infected blocks. That was a very fun mode. I enjoyed that one a lot. There's one called Full Clear, where you have to basically clean the screen. And it's really puzzly mode, so you'll get a very obviously set up set of blocks to start with, and you will be able to see which pieces are coming. And it's basically a puzzle, like slot the pieces in the right places in the right order. And yeah, that one went down really well. Me and Laura played that a few times. It's like, right, okay, I've got a T-piece, right, T-pieces go at the bottom, then the line piece goes there, then the square piece goes there, full clear, yes, next level. There's one where it will show you where a line piece will drop. So one of the columns will glow. It's like, right, this is where the line piece is coming. And in, I think, 15 blocks after it's glowed, the line piece will drop there to help you clear. So you can essentially build around these gaps. And it won't always be on an edge. It'll be in the middle, or sometimes it'll be 2 of these particular pieces that are coming in. So your job is to build up around these gaps to maximise as many points as you can get out of these, like, bonus line pieces that will always drop on the 15th turn. That mode, oh boy, I found my mode. that's my mode, because that's how I build. Like, that's exactly how I play. I always build up to kind of chuck the line piece down and get the Tetrises. It's perfect for me. And even Laura's saying, this is how you play. This is my mode. It's my turn.
Thank you, Ms. Base God.
Thank you, Ms. Uchi. You listened. You got a picture of my face and made a mode for me. The one Laura liked was a combo, where you have a bunch of chunky grey blocks with a gap down the side of 2, maybe 3 blocks wide. You have to then drop your blocks down the side and get a line. And then on the next blocks, get a line. And on the next block, get a line. So you can't skip. You have to get a combo. You have to keep getting line after line after line and building up your little hole in the side. I found this one very difficult. Laura found it a lot easier. I will say, my levels were definitely harder than hers. Because
of course you would.
Right? Because, okay, so imagine, if you will,
Laura,
a Tetris screen of like 12 blocks wide at the bottom, right? And she's got a gap of 2 wide to work with, right? So drop blocks down the 2 wide hole and get clears. Quite a lot of Tetris blocks are 2 wide anyway, so you can get a clear pretty easily. My first go, I loaded it up. My gap was 4 blocks wide. I was like, well, how the fuck do I do this? Do I have to build up a pile on one side and then work down the middle? And I couldn't do more than 2 or 3 in a row. It was too much. And Laura was laughing at me the whole time, like, no, this is clearly harder. Like, don't laugh at me. This is very difficult, woman. There's also the best mode. The one that we had in the demo, which, again, really helped sell us on the game. This is mystery mode. Right? Prepare yourself for mystery mode. What if Tetris had power-ups?
Okay.
So you start playing a normal game of Tetris, right? You're like, cool, I'm going to play me a Tetris right now. I'm going to sit there, I'm going to build some blocks. And every 30 seconds or so, a power happens. Some of them good, most of them bad. So, for example, it will flip the screen upside down and all the controls. So you have to either like deal with it or turn upside down on the sofa to play Tetris normally.
I like the thought of like this sort of secondary version of VR is just you kind of rotating like a dog with an itchy arse on your own couch.
Literally, like, oh fuck, like shit, hang on, I actually did sit upside down on the sofa when I was playing at the demo. I flipped over quickly because it was easier, and then it flipped back and I had to jump over and nearly fell off the sofa.
Note to Laura, Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah, when we played this mode, we didn't know what it was about. Me and Laura were yelling the entire time, like, what's happening? This is ridiculous. There was a moment where it would speed up for a bit. There was times it would slow down. There was the 7 power-up where it would drop 7 of the same block, one after the other. So if you've got a weird-shaped one, like one of those L-shaped pieces that doesn't quite fit in anywhere, it's like, I've got 7 of these to deal with now. Bollocks. The one that used to get me a lot was, oh, by the way, here's a giant piece. A double-sized Tetris piece that doesn't fit in anywhere.
Yeah, I think I saw that on one of the vids that I was watching.
God, I screamed. I was like, no, why? I was building up a perfect thing, and then it like, oh, here's a giant piece that will not fit anywhere.
Did you go proper Christina Aguilera just like that?
Yeah. I actually panicked and I pressed the L1 button to stick it in my like queue, because you know how you can save a Tetris piece.
Okay.
You can save a giant piece as well if you want. So I panicked and chucked it in there. Lauren, what are you doing? Like, I'm setting myself up a trap for myself later.
If you do get to the point where that will fit in, I probably hear your scream from Portsmouth all the way up to here.
I have not successfully achieved it so far.
But you know that's a squad goal.
It will come. Like, oh, the giant T-piece. I've made a gap. So I chucked it in there as a panic. I was like, what are you doing? Well, what I've done there is I've put that off to one side, and that's now a problem for later. And when I panic later and need to plop a block out and forget that it was a giant one, I will fuck myself. There's ones where I think they rotate weirdly or they rotate strange. There's so many like weird little modes. Oh, there's a really good one where it basically zooms you right in. So you've got your Tetris field, right? But imagine they draw the camera about 2 feet from the bottom of it and you point upwards like you're looking up at a skyscraper. And it's right in your face, and then Tetris is falling basically on your face. You're like, oh god, oh no, oh dear, I've got to play with giant Tetris now. That was really fun. And in VR, because you're kind of like having to turn your head to look at your own field, like I can't keep this all in view at once. I have to like look around and like really deal with this. It's transcendent is how good it is.
That's good. I like that word.
It is a good word. Yeah, and there's other modes that we've yet not to try because it was midnight. I'm like, no, we can't keep doing this all night.
I like that this isn't kind of a solitary thing. This is a thing for the two of you. That's great.
We've said for our first run of it, or the first week or two anyway, we're not going to play it on our own. Once we've got the first couple of weeks out of the way, when we'll allow each other to play it by ourselves, but where we're still exploring it and finding things, and it's, we're getting a lot out of playing it together. And again, yelling at each other like, what's happening? I don't know. Look at the level. Look at the background. There's a turtle. I'm not looking at the turtle. I've got blocks to clear. I'm on speed 8 and it's hurting me. It's fabulous. And I think once you got past those 2 weeks, I think we will kind of spread out. But I think this is a really, almost one of the perfect games to show off VR to someone with. Because everybody knows how to play Tetris. I've not met a person who doesn't know what Tetris is. Put the blocks down, make lines. To show someone off how cool a VR game can be with a very simple concept. Because like I say, before it came out, I was on the edge of I don't know if this is going to be worth 30 quid. Genuinely, it's just Tetris. It's very pretty Tetris, but I've played those beautiful looking games. We played Child of Eden. I've watched a lot of Rez, but I played games that are similar. It's like, it's a pretty game, but am I going to get that much out of it? Yes, I did. I was wrong. I was stupid. I'm an idiot for thinking in terms of it's just Tetris. I was very, very wrong. So tremendously wrong. This will be... We bought it digitally, so it's always there. It's small. It's 2 gig. It's not very big at all. So it's the kind of game that will sit happily on your hard drive, and you can just dip in and dip out when you want. Do you want to play Tetris now? Yes, you can. Click. You're playing Tetris now. No getting a disc. No fucking about. Tetris time.
Yeah, there are certain games it's just nice to have on your hard drive because you're gonna dip in and out of them like that. That's one of the reasons why I when the new version of Lumines came out that I picked up on Switch because I knew that it was nice to have it on the system anyway. Plus, there'll be times when I might have Twitch on in the background. I might just kind of reach over and grab the Switch at a certain point and just feel like playing it on the couch. And so it's an all-time favourite for me in that regard. So it does bother me why I've not picked this up yet myself.
Okay.
I can only question myself. Also look at eBay's 15% off offer today and just go, which means it would be a definite swapsy if you're going to watch some Garo and I'm going to get Tetris Effect.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. You don't need to look at that, because check your Twitter. Happy birthday.
What?
Have a code, bitch.
What?
It's not a code for the game, it's a code for the money to buy the game, but have a code, bitch.
That's amazing. Thank you, man.
Happy birthday.
We can't top that.
Right.
This is the end of the episode.
Done it. Tetris boys.
I like this. This is the greatest thing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's super nice.
You're welcome. I was looking for something to get you, and as we were talking, I was like, "Yeah, this is it, isn't it?" Clickety clickety quietly on my phone.
But it does reflect on last year when I bought you for your birthday, Christmas, a game that you I noticed you genuinely hated.
Which one was that?
Timefall 2.
Oh God, yeah. No, I really tried. I really, really tried.
Right, I'm going to download that now. But it's been good to catch up because we haven't had a chance recently. But yeah, we should. There'll probably be a point on a future show where we're both going, "Hey, I'm you and you're me."
Yeah,
I'm going to be talking about Tetris Effect. I'm going to be talking about Garo. No, but that'll be a cool little bit of swapsy. So,
what a good follow up.
Rada-doo-doo.
The reverso.
Right, I'm going to get that downloaded and nip out for a coffee and stuff. But thank you again for that.
You're very on brand.
It's been awesome for to proper catch up, and yeah, I'm really taken aback by that. Thank you.
You are welcome. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yay!
I'll speak to you soon then.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for listening, people. You can find us at Coffee Jesus on Twitter, at Paddy Stardust on Twitter, and at Twin Humanities also on Twitter.
What about if there's not Twitter? YouTube.
You see us around.
I tricked you.
You see us around.
Yeah. Anyway,
we can't miss that fucker.
Yeah.
He's got ginger hair.
What?
Me.
We shall go on this special birthday edition of the Humanities.
Thank
you, everybody.
Today.
Happy birthday again.
Is it going up today?
It is. I've committed.
Wish me a happy birthday, please, people, because that'd be nice.
Happy birthday, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, and bye.
Bye, everyone.